in the matter of Huntington House Apartments versus Ilias Chatsis, 2600166. Today's the date scheduled for an in-person hearing, and I know that you all were out there for a little bit extra. I was sitting on a case that the 25th District Court was disqualified on a small claims matter. And so it took a little bit longer. So that being said, has there been a resolution between you all in your ability to have conversations out in the lobby during that extra time?
And we respect that, and thank you for that extra time, Your Honor. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have a resolution. I do believe that we have the issue narrowed, so I think we'll probably have to move forward with the actual hearing.
Okay, so what is the narrowed issue? And let's see if if everyone's in agreement with this.
Yeah, essentially, the remaining balance, not including May rent, which has now become due, is around $500. It's $521.
Okay, well, we're not gonna count May rent. So you said $521,
Correct, plus court costs.
not counting May rent.
Correct.
Okay,
And that's essentially 5 late fees.
okay.
And
So let me ask this question. How much are the late fees per month?
they're $100 at a certain point in the month, the 4th after that, and then I believe it's the 11th. After the 11th, it's another $100 if they don't pay by then.
I'm sorry, $100 if not paid by the 4th.
Correct.
And then another $100 if not paid by the 11th?
Correct.
All right, well, I find a $200 a month late fee is excessive. But let me ask this question. Are the late fees that are being assessed a result of rent not being paid timely or that additional utility charge?
The utility charge per the lease is a part of rent itself.
Okay,
And yes, they are paying the utility charge late, and that is why they're getting the late fee judged, to answer your question.
all right, so let me ask this question. When did the utility charge go into effect?
There's been a utility charge since they moved in, Judge.
Over 5 years?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to indicate this. The court received yesterday this communication from Ilias Chatsis. I'm going to read this communication into the record so that you all have the same thing I have. I don't know if you all received a copy of this or not. Dear Judge DeSanto, I respectfully submit this letter regarding the eviction proceedings involving my apartment. You both may be seated if you prefer. It's a little bit of a lengthy read. Involving my apartment at Huntington House Apartments located at 17400 Fort Street, apartment 124, Riverview, Michigan. I signed the lease on December 1st, 2025, and I have consistently paid my rent on time every month while residing in this apartment complex for the past 5 years, including under the previous ownership. At the time I entered into the lease agreement, I was not informed that tenants would later be charged mandatory utility fees. On or about December 18th, 2025, all tenants in the 122 unit complex reportedly received a universal email notifying us that tenants in 1-bedroom apartments would not be charged $120 per month for utilities, and tenants in 2-bedroom apartments would be charged $150 per month, regardless of the number of occupants living in the bedroom. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, yet I am the only occupant and the sole person on the lease. Despite there being only one occupant in my apartment, I am being charged the same $150 utility fee as other 2-bedroom apartments that may have multiple occupants using substantially more water and utilities. There does not appear to be any measurement or calculation based on actual water usage or the number of residents in the unit. I respectfully feel this is unfair and unreasonable. If I had known about these additional mandatory utility charges before signing the lease, I would not have agreed to the apartment under those terms. The lease terms were effectively changed after I signed the lease and after I had already committed myself to the apartment. Although I did not agree with the additional $150 utility charge, I still made payments toward it while attempting to understand my legal rights and responsibilities regarding a charge that was added after the lease was signed. I acted in good faith and attempted to cooperate while seeking clarification. Also, I'm required to have renter's insurance. I have required renter's insurance and have been a member since January of 2024 through Lemonade, and I have a monthly payment of $17.80. Management is stating that I do not have renter's insurance, and they have charged me $15 per month, stating that I'm required to pay that to them, and sometimes management has charged me twice in 1 month. I have provided documentation from Lemonade and payment history of paying consistently every month. Since moving into the apartment, I have consistently paid my rent on time every month. I have retained all money order receipts and documentation proving payment. As of December 31st, 2025, my account reflected a zero balance. However, despite my continued efforts to communicate and provide proof of payment, and despite office management repeatedly stating that my account was current, management initiated eviction proceedings claiming the rent and utilities had been unpaid since December 31st, 2025. The online tenant portal has shown inconsistent balances fluctuating between approximately $521 and $921 depending on the day, which has caused further confusion and concern. When my wife repeatedly called to question the different amounts appearing online, the office informed her that their internal records showed no balance owed and stated she must have been reading the online portal incorrectly. During multiple court hearings, I have repeatedly provided payment receipts, documentation, and evidence showing that payments were made on time, while the amounts allegedly owed continue to change. This matter has now required 4 separate court appearances. As a result, I have lost approximately 4 days of work, including May 1st, 2026, resulting in approximately $500 in lost wages in order to attend these hearings. In addition, I have been forced to hire an attorney at an additional approximate cost of $500. Together, these expenses have created a serious financial hardship for me. I live paycheck to paycheck and work hard to stay current on all of my bills and obligations. The loss of income from missed work combined with attorney fees has placed an overwhelming financial burden on me, especially when I have continuously attempted to pay my rent and cooperate in good faith. I respectfully ask the court to consider the substantial financial harm these repeated proceedings have caused. Additionally, these proceedings have negatively affected my credit history and created fear regarding possible consequences for my future citizenship process. I am deeply concerned that ongoing eviction filings and court actions may unfairly impact my record despite my good faith efforts and documented proof of payment. The repeated hearings and stress have also interfered with important medical care. We were forced to cancel medical appointments, including a necessary EMG hospital test that could not be rescheduled for another 2 months. I also suffer from severe atrial fibrillation and high blood pressure, and the stress from these proceedings has significantly impacted my health. I respectfully ask the court to consider that I've acted responsibly, maintained timely rent payments, attempted to cooperate regarding the unexpected utility charges, renters insurance payments, and provided documentation supporting my position. I feel that I am being subjected to unnecessary financial and emotional hardship despite my efforts to comply and resolve this matter fairly. Thank you for your time, consideration, and attention to this matter. Respectfully submitted, alias Chatsis, his phone number and his email. Okay, so that is what the court received yesterday that I didn't have an opportunity to review until today. So I'd like to go through some of these concerns bit by bit. But my first question, Mr. Chatsis, is you state you're married. Where does your wife live?
More again, Your Honor, my English is a little bit broken. I'm trying to explain to you.
Hold on. Nope. Just one moment. Does your wife live with you?
Why is she having?
Does she reside with you?
Don't live together, live in March home.
Okay. All right.
And I already.
Okay. That was my first question was, he
Yes.
says he lives at home, but then he has a wife. So I wanted to clarify.
It is.
Okay, please don't interrupt the record, okay? So I wanted to clarify that. How long has your wife lived with her mom?
Around 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Okay, so, Mr. Ingram, are any of these late fees or these costs that are being owed as it relates to the renter's insurance?
There was always a balance, and the balance that the late fees are predicated upon is the fact that the utilities are consistently paid.
Okay, I'm not addressing the utilities right now. I'm going bit by bit. First, I'm sorry, can you please have your property manager state her name for the record, please?
Yeah, please.
Rakina Walker.
Okay, can you please spell your first and last names for the record?
Yes, RICKINAHWALKER.
Okay. Thank you for addressing most appropriately for court. And, okay, so now let me ask a few more. I'm going to ask a few questions. You may want to give more information, but please only answer my questions. As of December 31st, as of December 1st, was there a new lease agreement signed by Mr. Chatsis?
On third.
Okay. He says he signed it December 1st, but at the beginning of December.
Yes.
Okay. At the beginning of December, was Mr. Chatsis current on his rent? Not the utilities, the rent.
Yes.
Okay. December 1st, okay. And he was at a zero balance.
Yes.
Okay. Was there, so this matter was filed? Was there a matter filed December 3rd? Was there a notice to quit submitted to him December 31st? Mr. Johnson, you can have a seat if you'd like. No. So his statement that says management initiated eviction proceeding claiming that rent and utilities had been unpaid since December 31st of 2025. That didn't happen?
No.
So this is showing on the complaint that was filed. This is showing, this was filed January 29th, saying that rent was paid through December 31st. $253 is what was due. Hold on, we're gonna go off the record for a moment. Zoom user? Zoom user.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you here for Bank of America?
I am.
Okay, where's your suit jacket, counsel?
Your Honor, had 2 seconds. I apologize. I was just.
We're going to put the two of you in a breakout room. All right, so let's go back on the record in the matter of 2600166. Okay, so this was filed January 29th, indicating that $253 was due and owing. What did that $253 represent?
Yes.
If you would like, I can go on the record with the ledger numbers, Your Honor, or my client can cover, or it doesn't matter, okay. So the charges on 1/1 were $975. That's rent. There was the utility of $150. There was renter's insurance of $15. And because of the fact on the 4th, it was not paid, there was $100. So at that point, before any payments on 1/4, there was $1,240 owed. On 1/5, there was a $487 payment made, which brought the balance to,
I'm sorry, counsel. $475 payment made?
there was a $487 payment made on 1/5, which brought the balance to $753. And then later on 1/5, there was a $500 payment made, which brought the balance to the $253 that Your Honor inquired about.
Okay, so tell me about this renter's insurance charge. Mr. Chatsis states that he's had renter's insurance and has provided proof to your client.
We have not received a copy, nor was it uploaded to their portal through the resident app, so we have no record of them having renter's insurance.
Mr. Chatsis, you stated that you've provided documentation.
Sorry,
You've written in your letter that you have provided documentation about your renter's insurance.
every month I pay insurance in the time, but all this paperwork make my wife. Because my English is broken.
How does your broken English have to do with uploading a document?
With my wife together,
So she uploads the document.
helping me with document everything.
Okay.
I speak English, but not good. I'm trying.
No, your English is just fine. My father-in-law spoke broken English also, and I had no problem understanding him. Just one moment. What I need you to understand for me is that when one is speaking, somebody else cannot also speak, because my court recorder can only record one person at a time. Okay, so. Ma'am, what is your name for the record, please?
My name is Patty, same last name.
Thank you.
I'm
Hold on, just one moment. Ma'am, stand up when you're addressing the court, please. Are you picking her up, Alicia?
My name is Patty.
Hold on, please. Mia, are you picking her
I
up?
am picking her up.
Okay. I need you to spell your first and last names, please.
Okay. PATTYROUSSIS.
That's not the same last name as
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Chatsis.
I just gave.
Just one moment. I just said only one can speak at a time. So when I'm speaking, please don't interrupt to correct me, okay? You stated your first name was Patty, same last name.
Yes. And then it's CH, I have two last names. Actually, I have three. Because this isn't my first marriage. I kept my,
Ma'am, I just need your name,
Okay.
please. Stated and spelled for the record.
ROUSSIS. And then it's CHATZIS.
Any other names, or is that it?
Pardon?
Is that it? Those are your, okay. So, ma'am, have you uploaded the proof of renter's insurance to the portal for your husband?
We've always had it for the last 5 years.
That's not my question.
Oh.
My question is, have you uploaded the proof of the renter's insurance in the portal as required? Why not?
Because we didn't know that it was required. We just carried it. And it was directed, the insurance was always directed straight to the facility, to the Huntington house. They notify Huntington House that we're clients.
Who's they?
Lemonade Insurance.
Okay. Ms. Walker, do you have any communication from Lemonade Insurance?
No,
You don't ever get any communication from Lemonade Insurance?
no, because they're supposed to add a PO box. Add us as an interested party with the PO box, because it's not supposed to come to the office. It goes to Real Page, who manages our renter insurance.
Okay. And how is the tenant notified of all of that?
It's in their lease agreement. I do accept copies in the office and I will upload it on their behalf.
Okay, so, what is the management company that you work for?
Essential Property Management.
And when did Essential Property Management become the property manager for Huntington House?
I believe July of 2024.
Your Honor,
Nope, just a moment. Have you informed Lemonade where they need to send the notification to?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
yes, and we've had it since 2024, January 2024 with the previous owners. And they didn't have a problem in 2024 when they took over, and they didn't have a problem in 2025.
So, Ms. Walker, when did you begin charging the renter's insurance?
So because we took the property over from the previous owners and they were under that previous lease, we weren't able to immediately start charging them for the renter's insurance. Once they got on our lease agreement is when we could start charging them.
Okay, when did the Chatsis get on your lease agreement? And Mr. George, while Ms. Walker is looking for that, do you have a copy of the renter's insurance policy?
No, but my client does.
Okay. If you can show it to the plaintiff as well, please, Scott.
November before.
November of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And so when did you begin charging the taxes for renter's insurance?
There was a deal with the billing company prior. So they were not being charged initially, but it started January of 2025. 2026, my apologies.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that shows that they've had renters insurance since 2025. Was there any communication with the defendants indicating that there was a billing issue previously, so they weren't able to be charged? Or that you needed confirmation they did in fact have renters insurance?
We sent out an email in either November or December, letting everyone know to resubmit their information to the office. And I assisted with getting those approved.
Okay, and do you have the proof that you sent it to defendant's email address?
Let me see if I can access that. So actually, correction, it was sent out to residents first, May 14th of 2025. And then I sent out a second one, once I joined the team, January 14th, to submit it to the office.
Via email?
Yes,
Okay, January 14th of 26,
yes,
to submit it to the office, to you, correct?
yeah. They could either upload it or bring it, a physical copy to the office.
Okay, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a screen with,
That's our mass communication for residents through Rent Cafe Site Manager.
okay. So how does it show on here that this was sent to the defendant? Does it show, do you have like where you can show a sent?
Let me, see.
Oh, I'm sorry, status, sent. Okay. And if somebody's email is returned to you, will it show returned?
It does not.
Okay. So, how do I know which email address this was sent to?
Let me see if I can access those.
Okay. Just to make sure, I'm just trying to just
Yeah.
confirm for the record a few things.
I can't access it on my iPad. I do have my laptop outside.
Okay,
If I can.
if you don't mind, yes, thank you. Okay, in the meantime, let's go off the record for a moment. I'm gonna handle this one matter here. Counsel, were you able to, or was Ms. Walker able to locate that email?
I believe she's still accessing it.
Okay. In the meantime, Mr. George, were your clients able to locate the email?
No, Ms. Chatsis showed me her inbox for that date. And the only emails they got from the plaintiff were not on those dates and didn't involve this particular issue.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Walker can still look for that. We'll talk about that and we'll get back to the renter's insurance here in just a moment. The utility charges. The separate utility charges, when did those separate utility charges begin?
Flat rate utilities?
Yes,
That started January 1st, 2026.
January 1st?
Yes.
It was an assist for that.
It was assessed via RUBS, through RealPay, the utility biller.
Okay, and was that charged as actual usage?
No, it's a community bill, so the calculations are based on the size of your home and the number of people in your home.
So why is one person paying more than potentially three people? So in this case, Mr. Chatsis lives by himself
Yes.
in a two-bedroom. I understand you have a two-bedroom and a one-bedroom differential. But it doesn't appear as though, at least based on Mr. Chatsis's letter, it does not appear as though there's any specific amount per person. So he's living by himself. And so he's charged $150 because he's in a two-bedroom. But somebody that has four people in a one-bedroom is only being charged $120. So how does that make much sense for one person to be paying more than four people?
Yeah, so previously under the RUBS system, because we're not able to bill by usage because it's not individually metered, it's only a community bill. That's how they use the calculations to determine each household's amount. But because of the fluctuations throughout the different seasons, like, more gas in the winter and more water usage in the summer, and things like that, we opted to switch to a flat rate
I understand that.
system.
I understand the reasoning for that. What I'm not understanding is how a single individual is paying more than an apartment with four individuals, because the charge is only based upon number of rooms in an apartment, not by the number of occupants in the apartment. So how does it make sense that a single individual is paying $150 a month for utilities and an apartment that has four individuals is paying $120 a month?
Yeah, that decision was made by those above me, from the corporate office, so I'm not sure, of
Okay.
that specific reason.
Okay, counsel, I think you can agree that that doesn't really make much sense.
Judge, there has to be an allocation. If there's a master meter that's read from, then there has to be some way of dividing that amount because everyone in the property uses utilities.
I agree.
So they have to figure out some criteria through which to decide how to charge them.
Right, so perhaps it could be based on a per person charge, not a per apartment charge where you have
I'm sure there are.
four people living in one apartment. One person's living in one apartment.
Sure.
The people with four the apartment with 4 people is using more than the 1 person, but yet they're all paying the same amount.
I understand your argument, Judge,
No,
but
it's not my argument, it's my observation. I'm not arguing one way or the other.
Judge, I completely understand what you're saying, but there has to be some methodology used, and they opted a certain methodology. All the people were made aware of that. It is in the lease that they.
After the leases were signed. They were made aware of that after, well, at least in this case, they were made aware of it after the lease was signed.
There is a paragraph in the lease addendum that talks about how utilities can be altered. I think it's paragraph 10.
How they can be altered is one thing, counsel, but the methodology that's currently being utilized does not appear to be a reasonable methodology when it's only being assessed per number of rooms in the apartment, regardless of the number of individuals in that apartment. That doesn't, I 100% understand and agree that there has to be a methodology for community
Right.
build. 100% agree with that. But I also agree with defense that his charge, because he's in a 2-bedroom apartment, even though he's by himself, he's not using more than a 1-bedroom apartment that may have 4 people in it that are paying less. That doesn't make sense, and that does not seem reasonable. So to say that a defendant or a tenant filed or signed the lease with a lease addendum that says that the utilities can be adjusted is one thing, but to then implement this mass addendum or this mass methodology is something different.
Sorry.
In this method, this shows
Top email is proof that they sent it.
eviction. That top email?
But below that one.
Oh, right, okay. Automated email sent. Action required, update your renter's insurance by January 23rd. Who does it, how does,
That's his profile. It should
Okay.
say,
but what email does it go to? What email is registered with his profile? I don't want to mess up something, so I'm gonna have you do all that.
no worries. You could hear you.
Okay,
And this is from the defendant, so signed on the lease.
okay, did you show that to the plaintiff first? Okay. Okay, so the emails match. So does the phone number. Nope, the phone number is different. Whose phone number starts with the 334? Yours, okay. So, Mr. Chatsis, the emails are coming to your email address. Do you check your email address?
Elias can say something,
What? Yes, Elias Chatsis, Greek products.
great products.
Yes.
Yes,
You check your email?
it's my mail.
Do you check your email?
Don't check every time.
Okay, well, sir, this is how they communicate with you, so you need to make sure that you're sending it. And so, counsel, Mr. George, I was looking at the email address and I compared it to the email address that please don't interrupt me while I'm speaking. With the one that your client provided in the letter. Yes. Okay, so. So I need to understand a bit better why one person is being charged more than potentially 4 people in a 1-bedroom apartment for utilities. That just doesn't make it doesn't make usage sense.
That's not an uncommon arrangement, Judge, based on my experience with multiple clients when there's a master meter and they don't have individual metering.
I understand, but it's not charged based on occupant?
No, not always. It depends. Occupant,
How-
no, I believe that his wife used to live with him and now she doesn't,
How
recently.
how were the utilities charged prior to this current one that's been in effect since January?
It was charged by your unit size and the number of people in your home.
Okay, So what was the defendant paying for utilities prior to January per month?
Because he was still under the previous lease.
Are you asking what he was charged per month, Judge? And
Yes.
it would have varied, I imagine, because she said that the whole idea behind the flat was because during summer and winter, it was fluctuating a lot. So they decided to average it and make it 150 throughout the whole year rather than having a really high utility bill in winter versus summer and so on. If I understand Ms. Walker's testimony correctly, that was the reasoning behind making it a flat year-long thing.
Well, I understand the reason behind it. I'm just trying to understand if,
But he was
what,
paying.
I understand. No, I understand that. I'm just trying to understand, potentially what the increase was per month when it's averaged out for what he was paying.
Actually, I misspoke before. His first lease agreement signed and countersigned and well accepted by the office was the one December of 2025. So prior to that, he was not paying utilities because he was still under the previous owner's lease agreement. Until they agreed to sign with us, we were not able to charge them utilities.
Okay. And so the lease was signed December of 2025.
Yes. At which time he would have been charged the RUBS previous system.
Okay, and so then. In January is when you notified residents that. Of this change in the utilities, so they went from, so this tenant went from paying $0 in utilities to $150 a month. For one person.
Well, we notified them in December that the change would take effect in January, but yes.
Okay, and so when you notified Mr. Chatsis, was it before or after he signed the new lease?
It would have been right after he signed the new.
Okay, so now. Rent, when you include the utility, is $1,125. Correct?
Without the renter's insurance, yes.
Yes. And you see a copy, you see the renter's insurance has been, a copy that's been provided to you, correct?
We don't have any record of them having renter's insurance.
Right here in court.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes, okay. And has there been communication from Mr. Chatsis or his wife with you or the office regarding either the utilities or the renter's insurance?
Well, they came in and asked about the utilities and I explained the same I just explained here.
Okay. So, Mr. George, if your client if your client knew this $150 utility charge, would your client have signed the lease?
Well, he's indicated to me that he would not have.
Okay. So it appears as though the resolution in this matter would be to allow Mr. Chatsis to terminate his lease without any charge, so he can relocate and live elsewhere. Because he signed this lease in December, and this was a significant increase in January that he was assessed.
The lease addresses utilities though.
It addresses utilities. Yes, it addresses utilities. He went from paying $0 in utilities to now this arbitrary amount for one person. For one person. $150, which is only $10 less than somebody in a 2-bedroom townhome, or $20 less than somebody in a 2-bedroom townhome. So it doesn't appear from the information I have that Mr. Chatsis is going to be the only one that's concerned with the way that that's been assessed. However, Mr. Chatsis didn't have even a dollar amount when he signed the new lease, December 1st of 2025, with what the potential even was, right? Okay, maybe it's gonna be $50, $75, I mean, to go from $0 paying in utilities to $150 is a significant increase. So is that something that you all would like to discuss out in the lobby about the relocation?
Can we discuss it with my husband, see what he wants to do?
Yes, I'll let you all have a few moments to discuss that, and then you will recall this matter.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Okay, let's go off the record. All right. And so the court had taken a recess to allow counsel to have a conversation, as well as Mr. Chatsis to converse with his attorney as well regarding his intention as far as wanting to relocate, as he had indicated in the letter, that he may not have re-signed the lease knowing what the utility charge is, or what. So what, was there a resolution otherwise, or where are we at?
There has not been a resolution, Your Honor.
Mr. George?
No, Your Honor. No, I mean, may I add to that?
Okay.
Really, the only damages we're talking about here are these, late charges. That's it, isn't it?
Essentially, that's
Right, the late charge, the $253 or $521. So late fees, but my question was and remains, is your client wanting to remain at the property, or is he wanting to relocate?
He wants to remain until this lease expires, then he would relocate.
Okay. So, how many of the current late fees of $521, how many of those late fees are the second $100? Are those strictly the $100?
Yes. 200.
They're all, how many of those are $200?
Oh, no, it's two $100 late fees that are the second applied late fee.
Okay. Well, the court finds that that's excessive, that late fee is excessive. $200 a month for a late fee, this court finds excessive. The court, so that's then $321. And the $321, right, how is it $321? 300, so late fees of $100, where's $21 coming?
Yeah, I think that's just based upon the payments that were made. Some of the payments,
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure if I missed something somewhere.
sure.
All right, so here's what I'm going to also order. I recognize that plaintiff, obviously has to do community billing, has to have some type of methodology for that community billing. Based upon the information that I have, it appears as though, and, obviously this is not Miss Walker, she's the property manager giving the information, who's done a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you.
As far as property managers go, I think this has been one of the best ones in court. All around, appearance, demeanor, preparation, access to information, it's been fantastic. But it appears though that methodology is flawed because we have, at least in this case, we have an individual whose utility charges went up 150%. Because he was paying $0 over and above his rent. So you have somebody here that's gone up 150%. I don't know if that methodology is going to be revisited or what, because it also seems as though if it's not by individuals, but by apartment size and by this court's example, it appears as though it seems to be imbalanced when you have one person paying more utilities than a unit with 4 people. It seems to be a bit imbalanced as far as usage goes. Yes, ma'am?
I was able to confer with the corporate office. So what we did was we surveyed the local apartments in the area who also offer flat rates. So it was modeled after that, and then our actual bills we get for the community. So that's how they came up with those flat rate numbers.
Okay, so then what happens in the case, let's say that everybody pays $150 a month, or I'm just using that, I know that it's between 120, 150, 160, 170. But let's just say that $150 a month everybody's paying. And so let's say that there's 10 units paying that. What's that, 1,050? Or I don't know. Anyway, let's just say it's $1,100. Let's just say it's $1,100 just for ease of math. And let's say that, so you have received $1,100, the apartments received, the complex has received $1,100, and the utilities come in at $900. What happens with that excess $200?
So it's in a GO or a pot, because it's gonna fluctuate, obviously, with the changes in season. So it's really just there to help with the overall community bills as it fluctuates throughout each season.
Okay, so then what happens if at the end of all of the year, and after all the fluctuations have been accounted for, there is extra money left in that pot, so to speak? What happens with that money?
That I'm not sure about. I could confer with like our accountant to confirm.
Okay, well, that's just something that, you know, for counsel or for you to speak with them about as far as how that all goes, because it seems as though it wouldn't want to seem as though they're making a profit on this, right?
I don't think it's designed to profit, Judge. I think it's designed to just deal with a situation because you're going to have a bill and it has to get dealt with, and they have to decide upon a method of doing it, as you're indicated.
And I agree, and I'm not suggesting that it's designed for the profit to be made, but in the event that that's something that ends up as a result of this designed method, what happens with that excess money? Right, that's something that,
I can't answer that, Judge.
no, I understand you can't answer that. That's one of the thoughts that have occurred in the methodology that's been utilized. So, but in any event, Mr. Chatsis, either you or your wife are to submit proof of your renter's insurance, such as a copy, provide a copy. To Ms. Walker. By 4 p.m. today. Right, you're off work today? So you can make the copy and get it to her by 4 p.m. Okay. So it's been January, February, March, April.
I'm sorry. They were given a credit for March and April of $30 because the billing was corrected with the third-party manager. So they only have 3 renters insurance charges for January, February, March. They have not yet been done for April.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, so is it $15 or $17 that they're charged?
15.
Okay, so, all right, and so is that included in that in that
Yes.
amount? Okay. So, so long as that proof of renter's insurance is submitted. Well, strike that. So January, February, and March, no, the credit was for March and April.
But then they were charged correctly for March, so they do have 3 charges.
3 charges, okay, all right, so that's $45. All right, the court's going to order, for judgment for plaintiff. For.
Also, that's good.
Well, hold on, I'm gonna get to that, counsel. So, Ms. Walker, if Mr. Chatsis shows you the, renter's insurance, does it then get backdated?
So because it's managed by a third party, they would have to also refund us for us to be able to refund the resident.
Okay,
Which I can reach out, once I can verify the policy is accurate, I can reach out and see if they'd be willing to do so.
okay. All right, and so, Mr. Chatsis, when you make your rental payment, when do you pay your rent? What day of the month do you pay your rent?
What they pay rent?
Yes,
The 31st days, first days now.
okay, within the first couple of days?
I have to pay it today, ready.
I understand, okay. And then when do you pay your utility charge?
Utility around 1 week later I pay usually. And I told her that,
Okay,
I told her because
well, and as I've stated, that's 150% increase.
10 days, the first 10 days of my.
Just a moment, sir. Is there a way, counsel, that Mr. Chatsis is able to pay that amount later in the month without having a penalty?
There's a flex program that they were advised of by Ms. Walker, but for whatever reason, they have never availed themselves of that flex program, and that's all that they would have to do, and they can pay that late. They wouldn't be charged a late fee.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Common program with the apartments.
Okay,
Your Honor, when we found out about the $150 charge,
no, hold on, no, pause. Nope, not interested in revisiting that right now. Are you aware of the flex program?
no. She kept on giving us information to go and get assistance.
Okay,
Calls.
so you're being given information now that there's a flex program for the utilities.
Mhm.
So you need to sign up for that.
Okay,
So then, counsel, I'm gonna have you make sure, Ms. Walker, please explain that to them a little bit more in depth,
Sure.
potentially, so that they can sign up for that. So then you won't have to pay the late fees on that. Okay? Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to, going to order, sir, that you owe $45 for the renter's insurance because you did not submit proof over to, plaintiff. Ms. Walker's indicated that she's going to reach out to see if it can be refunded. What you've already paid, what they had to pay because they didn't have proof of the renter's insurance.
even though they had the information, the same information from 25,
Ma'am? They didn't have the information. If they had the information, they wouldn't have charged you. Perhaps there is a problem with the transition with the different program. I don't know, but there was communication sent out. I saw it in the system.
yeah,
Did you check your spam? Because,
I'm right here.
excuse me, it shows in the system it was sent. And I confirmed the email address, okay? So in the event that that renter's insurance is refunded, then you're gonna be refunded the $45. That's what's going to happen. the court's going to indicate the balance that's being requested of $521 is not going to be ordered. The court finds, number one, that $200 a month for a late fee is excessive on the rent. I can appreciate and understand the structure, the staggered rental or late fees, but the court finds that $200 is excessive. So the court's removing the $200 charges. The court's also going to remove the late fees for the late payment on the utilities, because that's, as I've stated, that's a 150% increase in cost that Mr. Chatsis did not have knowledge of when he signed the lease in December. He is though going to pay the court costs for this matter. And so, counsel, what are the court costs?
Judge, May rent is due as well, shouldn't that be included also?
It says he has it right here to pay. What's the court cost?
The court cost is $176.54, Your Honor.
Okay, so $176.54 plus the $45.
Your Honor, if I may, I think it should be made clear also that I understand your reasoning, but nothing is changing in terms of the actual utility structure. I think they need to understand that. Unless my client decides to change it.
They do, I believe they do understand that, because I didn't say that his amount was going to be reduced at all, because that's not, I don't have the authority to say that at this point. I do think that moving forward, the structure could become problematic in the future. But that's why I went over the flex program and asked about paying that later. I didn't say paying a reduced amount.
Right, I just want to be clear so that we don't end up here again with the same issue where they're saying that judge said we don't pay $150 anymore.
No, I did not say he does not pay $150. I did not say that the $150 per month utility is waived. I 150% did not say that.
I get that, I just want to clear the record.
What I'm also going to do is I'm going to hold the issuance of the judgment in abeyance. I'm just trying to be a little bit crafty here, counsel, for the benefit of everybody here. Sir, you owe $221.54 to plaintiff.
We
I'm
owe the court fees to them.
Yes, they had to file the action. Ma'am, I have waived 95% of what they were requesting. You're paying the court cost. The renter's insurance is owed. In the event that there is a refund, then it will be refunded to you. But I'm not going to have that dollar amount wait to be paid, because it could be 2 months before Ms. Walker receives anything back from the third party company about that. I will give you 2 weeks to pay that. If you do not pay that in 2 weeks, the court will then enter a judgment. Okay? That way it satisfies everybody. It doesn't have a judgment entered against Mr. Chatsis, because I do believe his concerns were not frivolous. I believe that they were valid.
Judge, are you preparing this order, I'm assuming? Or do you need me to?
I was not going to prepare the order.
I happily will do it, this,
Thank
tell me
you.
that amount again, was it $221.54 and you said 2 weeks, I think?
$221.54, $176.54 of the court costs, $45 is the renter's insurance amount. And then in the the further ordered, it could indicate if that amount is not paid, or in the ordered part, if that amount is not paid in 2 weeks, then the plaintiff can notify the court that it's not been received, and then the court will enter the judgment in that amount. Further ordered, that in the event plaintiff receives a refund from the third party renter's insurance company, defendant will receive a refund or a credit, however that wants to be worded.
Oh,
The
Jeff,
utilities, I'm going to presume, are not being paid today. I'm sure, well, how much do you have for your rental amount there, sir? Does it,
How much?
how much do you have that you're paying for your May first rent today?
975,
Okay.
for May.
Correct. So then they're going to sign up for the Flex program, so then they can pay their utilities.
Well, to sign up for Flex, they have to have a portion available to pay today towards, because they pay us up front, and then every 2 weeks they pay Flex back. But they have to have that portion, whatever that amount is that Flex charges them
Okay,
upfront.
okay, here's I'm going to further order.
Because if we,
Just one moment. I'm going to further order that because they're paying the 221.54, that defendant is to pay utility amount by May 22nd without penalty or late fee.
that's just the utility judge.
The utility only, yes,
So the utility can be paid late in May with no penalty.
correct. Then, defendant needs to sign up for Flex. And how much do they have to have available to sign up, Ms. Walker?
Flex determines that amount. Sometimes it's half, sometimes it's 75%. It's determined on Flex.
Okay, so when the Flex, okay, so then when the Flex is set up, is that for their rent and utilities or only utilities?
So all monthly charges.
Okay, so then what that will mean then is that then they can flex the payment throughout the month, it appears. But they have to have a certain amount available to pay for that month, so we're gonna have that start in June. So then you'll be able to do that in June because these other monies will have been paid, no late fees or otherwise, okay? And then Ms. Walker will go over that with you and how that all works. Okay? Oh, and also that, council, if you want to include in there, to provide the copy of the renter's insurance by 4 p.m.
they charge 100 for 1 day.
They don't charge $100 for 1 day late. They wait until May 4th. If you don't pay it by May 4th, then it's $100. So that's 3 days late.
I am,
And then if there's another 7 days and they charge another $100. My opinion, as a judge in this case, that this case is before, $200 a month is excessive. However, in this case, sir, you're paying your May rent today, so you're within your grace period. The court is indicating that you're not going to be paid a late fee so long as you pay your utility charge by May 22nd. And then you need to sign up for Flex to begin in June. If you don't sign up for Flex beginning in June, I can't help you with that late fee. Okay? All right,
Guys, if I may,
may not. I'm just, go ahead.
could you please go through all, because there's been a bunch of back and forth. Could you just go through all the bullets of that one more time so I can make sure
Yes,
I do it correctly?
okay.
Thank you.
The judgment the order is going to indicate that an amount due to plaintiff is $221.54. That represents $176.54 in court costs, $45 of renter's insurance. That amount is to be paid by May 15th.
Got it?
If that amount is paid, then the judgment will not enter. If the amount is not paid, then the judgment will enter against Mr. Chatsis and all other occupants.
So basically judgment is set aside if they meet those conditions, correct?
Yes,
Or it doesn't matter what.
right.
Okay.
In the event plaintiff receives a refund of the renter's insurance from the third party, upon showing proof that renter's insurance was in existence at that time, which, just for the record, that's been provided that it was in existence. And so if that third-party company does refund plaintiff for those months, then defendant will receive a refund or a credit, whichever is the way that it's to be received. Defendant is to pay utility amount of $150 by May 22nd without a penalty or late fee. Defendant is to sign up for Flex to begin for the month of June. And submit proof of the renter's insurance. So provide a copy of the renter's insurance to Ms. Walker by 4 p.m. today. I believe that was everything.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Director.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good luck to you all. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
You as well. So council, just so, so if you're able to prepare that today and then send it this afternoon, that's fine, or if you can do it by Monday morning, that'd be great, because we're not here Tuesday and I'm in a conference the rest of the week.
I could have it later today.
Okay, all right, have a good day.